welcome to
the
Heyyy
show. This is a show that is about BJJ.
Maybe this should be a show
grappling.
for experts.
No.
And we're
By
not the
idiots?
experts.
No, that's
Yeah.
not So this is a show about BJJ or grappling and MMA that has a panel of experts. But the experts shouldn't watch this because the people who should watch it are like that person that commented that said that none of us know what we're talking about. That was the joke.
It's not wrong.
We kind of fucked up though. That's all right.
That's our whole gig.
Yeah, it's all right. All right, so today is a mailbag episode, and also simultaneously I'm paying off a debt where I'm playing Mario for 2 hours or beating it, whichever one comes first. And so I did a mailbag episode, so I apologize. I'm going to have to read the questions, and then you guys go, and then you tell me, hey, we need another question, okay? Because I'll be playing
What if we
Mario.
all end up just watching him play Mario?
Yeah.
And it's just
We'll just judge you
All right,
while you
so-
play Mario.
So...
Especially Brandon that could do it in 7 minutes.
We saw Makhachev obviously win, and he made a comment that hurt all of the Gracie schools in the world that their black belts should be taken away if Makhachev could come in and kill you. But anyways, the question is, does Makhachev have a point?
I think so.
And even better, we have an actual expert that weighed in on this. His name, I pulled out the best comments from it, is Craig Jones. So basically, I'm just asking you guys if he has a point, but we'll first go to Craig Jones. I think Makhachev's grappling is superior to what a lot of traditional jiu-jitsu guys did because they don't know how to hold someone down. They have no idea how to do it. And then I'm going to skip past and go to some of the bigger parts. So we really got to reverse engineer what Makhachev's doing, which is I've been trying to do on talk. I don't understand that. And I'm trying to teach these guys how to do it so I can practice doing it. Now, we gotta remember he's Australian, so it's not his first language. It's a joke. I thought somebody was gonna. I thought he was gonna say something like, "What do they speak?"
I speak Australian.
Yeah.
I honestly agree
Hey.
with what Makhachev says. A lot of people deserve to have that black belt taken away. I kind of agree with that. I think what those guys are doing is sort of superior to what we've been doing for a long time because we built an entire sport around conceding bottom position. I'm not one of those guys that says we should grapple as if people are striking us, but I believe we should grapple as if the tough guy knows how to pass and pin. A lot of guys don't mind being on bottom because they've never rolled with a guy who knows how to pass guard or pin someone, so don't know how fatiguing and horrible that is.
I mean, I heard this. I remember listening to this, and again, it's. I think it's too broad, essentially, because like it really goes down to like why are you training jiu-jitsu? You know, are you? Are you really like? Clearly, if you have one of the best strikers that can hit you as hard as possible, anything that you train is going to start to fail at that point.
Yeah.
You could be the best whatever martial artist in the world, and if you get in this position, you could kill the guy. Like, clearly, I can't remember his name. Who'd he hit? Who'd he beat?
Makhachev beat Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, so who's incredible.
Yes.
The dude is incredible. But anybody that gets hit is going to start to fail at whatever you're good at. So it's like, what are you training for? Are you training to be healthy? Are you training to be in good shape? Are you training for friendships? Are you training for, competition? Or are you really training to be at the 1% of the population, in which case, no matter what martial art you train and get a black belt in, once you add getting hit in the head a tremendous amount of times, doesn't really matter how good you are anymore. Yeah, you're going to frickin' beat them. So I do agree that there's a lot of shitty black belts and there's a lot of free promotions in any art.
Mm-hmm.
Taekwondo's watered down, jiu-jitsu is getting watered down in some areas. No matter what you do in life, unfortunately, some are going to hold a standard and some are going to water it down.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. Like, it's tough to say. I mean, yeah, clearly some people should lose their black belts, but some people aren't getting their black belts for the same reason to be where he was.
I also think he's, one of the biggest outliers you could possibly pick for this, too. Like, he's got to be one of the the best grapplers there is. Period.
Oliveira?
No.
No.
Islam
Makhachev.
Oh,
Makhachev.
yeah.
And I think he just has attributes that other people don't have. Like Charles Oliveira is also one of the best grapplers that there is, probably. And Islam, he had him in I think it was an arm triangle, and the second that he passed, he tapped. And I think to have Charles Oliveira, a guy who's got the most submissions in UFC history, he's obviously a credentialed black belt, to make him tap that fast, the instant you pass from mount to side control, I feel like that guy's got to have a squeeze where he could just pop the head off of a fucking dinosaur or something.
Well, and it's not jiu-jitsu anymore, right? Like, you're getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I don't necessarily think the cage is jiu-jitsu anymore.
Right.
I mean,
That technique was, though.
well, I know, but I'm saying it's almost like a hybrid now, right? Like, you can't just train jiu-jitsu anymore and go into the cage. You can't just train boxing anymore and go in the cage. You can't just train wrestling and go into the cage. It's almost like if you want to make the top now, you have to have this hybrid of a mixture of all of it, and that should almost be its own belt
Yeah.
if you want to be at the top.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, because you got to have this weird wrestling, weird countering, weird striking,
Yeah.
mixture of everything in together that it could actually be. It's kind of funny. This will come back, but I train UFC, right? Like, it's almost today like it's becoming that.
You have to train.
You have
be
to
an
train.
MMA black belt.
You know, and be really versatile at all these weird things. You don't have to know every escape, and you don't have to know every submission. You don't have to know every strike, and you don't have to every kick. But there's
You have to know the functionality of a lot of
and
it.
Khabib, it's almost like he's creating this new era of if you have this style, it's guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
It's creating monsters.
Yeah, and it's how well is that going to train? And it depends on the rule set. Like you said, if you're in the cage, yes, that is going to be the most dominant. But if you put him in an IBJJF, is he going to be able to use what he knows and win an IBJJF?
Yeah, could he win the black belt world to adult?
That would be and of course,
Maybe.
then the argument's going to be if he doesn't, it's well, that's because your guys' rules are stupid. Maybe, but that's what the rules are, and just if we were to go and do a sambo, we might be able to do okay because we know some gi grips, we know some judo-y stuff a little bit, we know a little bit of wrestling. We'd probably do okay in a sambo tournament, but we won't win just by knowing jiu-jitsu.
You definitely won't win the black belt.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, you might win a blue belt, or I don't know what their belting system is.
Right. It's such a different thing. You can't say. I don't know if I agree that it's I think you just have to take away what it is. It's not. They are a jiu-jitsu black belt, but maybe they are a sport jiu-jitsu black belt.
And there's not belts in the cage.
Right. There's not belts in the cage.
You could have 5 black belts, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be the best.
Right.
So,
yeah,
what's
they're not
it matter
translated.
whether you have a black belt or not?
Yeah. And we talk about all the time. MMA math is bullshit. So therefore, your credentials going into a cage match are bullshit. It doesn't matter. You can have a purple belt tap out a black belt. And it could be not just his style, right? You could have someone come in, we could have Tristan take on a black belt. Let's say if Tristan was going up against someone that has a black belt, but they don't have the wrestling that he's got, and he goes in, and he wins, does that mean that, that guy that
Isn't a black belt, or
isn't a
that
black
Tristan
belt,
is a
right.
black belt? Well,
right,
no.
exactly.
Just means the mix-ups.
I mean,
So-
obviously, if you put Islam in there with Gordon, pretty
Right.
sure I could tell you
Right.
what the outcome's going to be.
Correct.
Right. And then you're
But if
gonna
you make it an MMA match,
I could
Yeah.
also tell you what the
Yeah.
outcome's probably going to be.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that doesn't make Gordon not
a black,
belt.
Exactly.
right, and of course, Gordon's a rough example there because of the size difference. But
But I think if you put Craig Jones
yes,
in with Islam and switch MMA,
yeah,
who wins? But I don't know. It's not Islam. Who is it? Is
Yeah,
it Islam?
it's
Islam.
Okay. MMA, Islam probably wins 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Jiu-Jitsu, Craig Jones probably wins, I would assume.
Yeah. I just
And
think,
I think that would be an interesting match. I would
Yeah.
kind of like to see.
I think what'll set this up is how does because Volkanovski is supposed to get the next fight, and Craig Jones is Volkanovski's jiu-jitsu coach for the most, basically.
I just-
so that would be
I'm kind of
we'll find
entertained
out.
watching Michael.
I also just kind of think that Habib and all those guys, that Dagestani style, they're training jiu-jitsu to beat MMA guys.
Correct.
While Gordon Ryan and us, we're training jiu-jitsu to be jiu-jitsu people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just a little different.
Well, they've learned how to negate all of this and have one style that works to kind of control the
It
cage correctly.
neutralizes you.
Yes.
It just shuts you down from being able to do almost anything.
And that's a whole different art in itself.
Yeah.
It's not one art anymore.
Mhm.
It's its own thing almost.
Yeah.
And a lot of it does play into what you said earlier. It's that quote from Mike Tyson, like, everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to really say that his style is the better grappling style is if you made that a grappling match, just to see what that outcome would have been in a pure grappling match. Now he probably still would have won, but it would have been it would have been a lot harder. It would have been like a more well fought match, I believe.
poor Charles, too. He got beat on the feet, then
Yes.
he got tapped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he just kind
Did
of
you
got
die?
annihilated.
I was like, how did you die? Like, you were
Because
doing
I'm
fine.
actually trying to play slow and
You
then
ran
it's
out of
making-
time?
it's making me
Oh,
run out
I was
of
so
time.
confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking
what's
of
the
that, we
next-
are ready for the
yeah,
next question.
What's
Okay, great.
don't run out of time.
It's actually my brain was like dying inside when we were doing the live show because you've answered a couple questions already, but that's okay. I've just accepted it now.
We've it's okay.
Is it rude to ask for specific rolling from a higher belt?
I don't think so at
I
all.
don't think so either. And
Like,
that's
if on Thursday, if some kid
Go
came
back
up
to
me
last week's
and was
episode.
like,
yeah,
Or 2 weeks
go
ago.
back
Yeah.
to the live show.
I just think no. I don't think it is. I think if someone came up to me and said, I'd like to try this position, I'd be
Mhm.
100% fine with it.
Yeah, and that's like the higher belt thing, like that's even more the person
Those are the
to
people
ask
who want it.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly.
they're the people that are even more like, oh yes, I would love that. This would be a great restaurant. Thank you, sir.
I think you should never be afraid to ask someone to roll,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you should also never be upset to not get to roll with that
Right.
person.
Sure.
Okay, like Toby.
Right.
You know, he's asked me to roll, and in my mind, okay, yeah, like I don't get a restaurant with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
understand what you're saying. With Isaac, I almost get a restaurant because
Sure.
we're the same size.
Yeah.
But with somebody that's athletic and 240 pounds,
Mhm.
my back has been acting up. I've had a lot of stomach issues the last 2 weeks. I don't want to have to scramble and
Yeah.
twist
Understood,
with
yeah.
someone like that. So for me to say no to him, I don't want him to feel disrespected or that I don't like him or I don't care
Right.
about helping him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also to the point in my life that I gotta think about longevity of.
But we're also talking about specific. So if like we'll use Toby as the example again. If he came up and said, "Hey Chad, can we work side control?"
Yeah.
Is that disrespectful to
As
you?
long as
You get to be on top.
Well, no, not even that. Just as long as you understand, because like he grabbed a leg and he did really good the other day when I rolled with him.
Mm-hmm.
When you're coming up, you know, are you putting your weight all the way down on that leg to force the sweep? Because my leg's not going to take 240 pounds of pressure.
Right.
You know, like I don't even know what the pressure would be when a 240 pound man that's athletic
lot.
is driving into you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's got to be ridiculous. You know, I have to think about. You don't have to think about those things. You're not thinking about a 140 pound man somehow magically blowing
Yeah.
your back out or blowing your neck out. Like those things never cross your mind. But I have to think about him constantly. I'm holding this man down, and if he just strengths me over and my legs get stuck under me,
Mhm.
like I'm blowing my knees out.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely something that I don't think anyone should ever be disrespected for saying no, but I don't think anyone should ever
But yeah,
be
I mean,
afraid to ask
Yeah.
someone to train.
for specific rolling, I don't think that's disrespectful at all.
Yeah. That's
And,
a yeah.
it's,
I agree.
it's just communication,
Yep.
and men do great at that.
What's next?
We're ready for the next one.
What promotion ritual do you want to start at your gym? This is basically just for Roddy.
Yeah, knives. Knives
Oh.
when you get a new belt. Cool
All
knives.
belts?
Yeah, and I would say like when you get your blue belt, you do the blue belt test, you get your blue belt, and you get this cool blue handled knife. Yes, and you get a purple one, a brown one, and then a black one.
So you're doing it?
How many knives do I gotta get?
A lot, it sounds like.
Well, not yet. Right now it'd be easy. Now if you get Moequa or whatever academy you're running up to 300 students, it's going to be a nightmare.
Man.
For me, it's a little bit rougher, but it's not
Yeah.
that bad yet. For me,
What
it's still
about for
manageable.
Kids? You getting kids knives too?
Oh
For
yeah,
sure.
of
Okay.
course.
Oh, I mean, we're already giving them katanas at Naga. Why not?
Dude, I want one of those katana nagas so bad.
Don't. It's not worth it.
I want it.
I mean, I like the knife idea. I like.
I think it's such a cool thing because it's like I don't know. It's like
It's unique. It's special.
I gave you tools to fight. Now here's a little extra in case you need it.
Even if you could get their name somehow engraved on
Sure.
it or something special.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but you're right. When we're talking that many people, that's a lot of money we're dropping.
I don't know what you're. I mean, $20, $30 a knife. I don't know.
The person that asked that question on the fan thing that I still shit from, he was saying that at their gym they have a, and I laugh instantly when I hear it, that they have a ceremony where all of the black belts get to do their favorite takedown on the person getting promoted.
Oh.
That sounds awful in our gym.
Yeah, because no one wants Chad to guard.
Could you imagine in Mount Vernon after you get that?
TikTok that.
Yes,
Well
sir.
played. And I will guard pull my ass off.
Mhm.
Shit, I forgot everything.
Yeah, go on the next one. I won.
What was the?
How-
I had something.
Promotion. What's a
Oh.
cool promotion idea?
I like the promotions that we're doing now where like I'm trying to get everyone at the end of the year to do a Christmas party and promotion day, and each person that's kind of higher up as an instructor teach something.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a cool thing.
I kind of think that's going to be neat. Like,
Especially
you'll
for your
teach something for 5 minutes,
non-competitive
I'll
people.
teach something for 5 minutes, blah, 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 throughout the whole thing. I think that's kind of a special thing that allows the students to endear maybe a little bit to the instructors.
Yeah.
So let's say we have 100 people there, 200 people there. Someone sees you teach something, right?
Mhm.
You teach judo or you teach a top thing or whatever, and whatever the case is, these other 3 schools that have students there say, I like how Ronnie taught, I like what
Mhm.
Ronnie showed.
Mhm.
Now they're going to make the trip to Mawikwa
Mhm.
and bond a little bit more, and get a little bit more peace, and we're going to grow a little bit more as a huge group that never happened before.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and that's the case everywhere. Like when we did that, and it was funny. The last time we did that is Tommy showed something, and the thing I wanted to show literally came like it was step 2 of what Tommy showed, and it just so happened to be there.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing when you realize that we are all definitely under the same umbrella because all of our ideas are very similar. So that is pretty cool. But you also get those weird things like I never would have thought to do that. That's pretty neat. I'm gonna steal that now.
But I always thought dog tags would be cool
Yeah.
for promotions.
Yeah.
Like have your name and your academy. Maybe like if we have 20 schools one day, to have what school you are, to have your name, to have your rank.
And then you get that knife and you cross out the white, and then you get blue
Yeah.
and red, and then you.
There you go. It combines together, finishes each other. And then you got some cat on your lap.
Yeah, that's the ultimate promotion.
All right. How do you learn to quit going hard as you can on everything and start rolling for longevity and to get better? This question came from somebody that was rolling at a gym where they were basically fighting for their lives every time they rolled.
I think you got to find out within yourself why you're doing it.
Yeah, it's like
And if it helps, in their scenario, it was basically like that they were that's how they were taught.
how do you reprogram your brain?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, if you've realized that, man, you're getting
You're doing good, Michael.
every
No, not at all.
Every
I'm
roll you
dying
do
slowly, and
is
that's-
hard.
Fuck.
If every roll you do is hard, then you know that you're and especially if you can tell that you're not progressing, that's the time where you either it's time to look for a new gym, or 2, start really communicating. It's like, hey, you're going really hard on me and I'm not learning anything. Can we back up a little bit? Can we do a little bit of positional stuff? Can you help me with this thing right here? But if you are always fighting as hard as you can all the time, it is really hard to realize that that's just not how you learn if that's the only way you've done it. So it is a very hard thing to reprogram. But the best thing for anyone to do, whether you are in one of those gyms or not, is go to different gyms and see how they do things, and then you can learn like, oh, hey, this gym does it this way. I like that. Or you go to this gym's like, this gym does it this way. I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am. I'd never
That
want
was
to
so
come back
close.
here.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
watching Michael. Jiu-Jitsu's the hardest thing, I think. the whole idea of mixed martial arts in general is really hard to figure out,
Yeah.
and it's almost a luck thing. It's almost like you have to luck into the right location,
That's-
the right
that's
place,
kinda
and the
true.
right thing.
That is kind of true.
The environment,
because
the people.
you could start, and I'm not going to name schools, which I probably normally would, but I mean,
Growth. Personal growth.
you think about if you start at one school and it doesn't offer you what you want, but you're stuck there because they've trained your mind to believe
Mhm.
that that's the only choice or the only option, compared to walking into B team school or whatever the case is, where that's like, okay, this is exciting and I feel like I can go anywhere I want, or I feel like this is the end of the road. There's nothing more. It really sucks. To me it would be, and it depends where you live.
Mm-hmm.
What if you live in Effingham and there's nothing?
Right.
And it's like you had to build. think about if you want to get in jiu-jitsu 10 years ago in Effingham.
Oh, yeah.
You only had one choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that one choice was very basic no-gi jiu-jitsu with striking. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's like you actually kind of have some choices, but it's still pretty limited. Like, what if
Yeah.
you don't want to train under us?
Yeah.
Or you don't want to train under the other one or two possible kind of people that are trying to grow. Like, you don't have, like, what if you want to be a Gracie Baja student and you just want to show up and do what their curriculum is,
Mhm.
hang out with this group of people and go home?
Yeah.
Well, you don't get that option unless you move to St. Louis or Indianapolis or,
Right.
So it's, you have to go in and train at 10, 20 different gyms if you even have that option.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I like these people the most. I like this style the most.
Mhm.
I like this direction the most.
Yeah, you got to be willing to travel or once you've traveled and found someone, then you talk to them and then you just make your own gym. I don't know anyone that's ever done that in here.
Yeah. But again, even under our associations, look at it, just our 5 or 6 gyms,
Mm-hmm.
it's completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
Mowequa completely runs a little bit different. I would feel like they're a little bit more MMA and no-gi focused.
yeah.
I think Terre Haute's kind of more MMA and no-gi focused.
Mhm.
Effingham's probably like kind of right in the middle right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Matt Toon's probably more gi focused.
they're definitely, I don't feel like MMA focused at all.
Right.
Even though they have an MMA pedigree,
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost more of like a jiu-jitsu thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we won't get in the other gyms, but because we're doing positivity today.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Next question.
Okay.
You get that.
Can we get to the
thing
fun questions now?
Yeah, let's get
Alright.
the fun ones.
Who is the person at Thanksgiving you want to do jujitsu on the most?
All right.
That was actually stolen. I saw that on a post.
All right, so this Brandon, are you good with just sitting back and let Chad deal out his daddy issues?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My dad, first of all, my dad doesn't even show up to Thanksgiving.
Oh, Ronnie, come on.
So
But I
sad.
did have Thanksgiving with my mom and my stepdad this year. That was nice. We drove over there. Lucy absolutely loves hanging out with Grammy, and I told Grandpa that he needs to step up his game in life if he wants to compete with Grammy. He's not going to watch us anyway, so it's fine.
Okay.
I don't know who I would beat up at Thanksgiving because I didn't really hate anyone.
Yeah, I don't know either, honestly.
I definitely don't want to fight.
Probably one of my sisters.
Will you pull her hair?
Sure.
I'm so thankful. Now I'm going to do what I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. That Chad didn't say anything about Brandon's sisters.
Oh.
I was very thankful for that.
Were you gonna tap out my sister?
Oh, Brandon brought her back up. Brandon is the antagonist.
It's the circle back.
Yeah.
All right.
Brandon's picking a new role.
What? So 2 jokes in a row.
Oh.
Sometimes I try to work that in where it's 1 joke or 2 jokes. It's 2 jokes.
Glad
What's
that came
celeb-
back around.
What celebrity do you suck up to the most on Facebook about jiu-jitsu?
Mario Lopez? Is that the answer?
Is that the answer?
I don't
Yeah, that's
talk to
amazing.
any celebrities on Facebook, so I guess I gotta step my game
Even
up.
when there's celebrities in the sport and they're there taking pictures, I don't even. Because we were around there, there's like Craig Jones taking pictures, Nicky Rod taking pictures, and I'm like, I'm good.
The one that you wanted the most, though, was for sure Craig Jones.
Yeah. Well, the one I wanted the most is when we went to Extreme Couture and Roy
yeah,
Nelson
that's
was
true.
there, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not. He's busy. I'm not gonna bother.
Why?
Well, and then, but here's the reason why is because then Corey, Michael's daughter, said, "Oh, I'll get that picture for you," and she was being all cocky about it. And I was like, oh,
Nice,
"Okay,
Michael.
let's go over there."
Did you get it?
No, he never acknowledged my existence, and so I felt really hurt.
Really?
A little
You should have
bit.
just punched him.
Yeah, great idea.
You would have acknowledged it then. Then you would have a story.
Yeah, who flicked that piece of paper at me?
I think you could hit him.
I could have.
I got money on you.
And I probably could have outran him, but that's not the point. There's a whole gym.
What's yours, Brandon?
What was it again?
I
What
guess.
celebrity do you suck up to?
Like,
No, I don't think I do.
Not
any,
necessarily.
but-
Doesn't mean like talk to them. This means like you want to go.
No, it was
Talk.
just a joke. It was a complete joke that you say Mario Lopez.
Yeah,
Oh,
once
really?
you said
That's it?
Mario
That was
Lopez,
just-
we
it
could
was
have
over?
stopped.
Yeah, we could have just stopped after that.
If I had to pick
Anyways,
a couple, though, it would have been like Lex Friedman or
Oh
something.
my God.
I like him
See
a lot.
that guy
You
that
guys
talks
just
on
made me
podcasts?
get.
You died.
No! I was doing good!
You're still
What?
doing good.
You still
What
have a one.
celebrity do you. I don't know, I read that one. What is the biggest outlier in Jiu-Jitsu today? That was a serious question.
outlier?
Yeah, what's the
Gordon
biggest
Ryan?
outlier?
I put the word outlier in
Chad
there
Hawkins?
so Brandon could explain to you what the word outlier is. That is
Well
that's,
played.
that's a shoot. That's a
That's
shoot.
I definitely needed it.
That one's legit.
I mean, that's obviously Gordon Ryan. He's obviously the biggest outlier. I don't know who else is even an outlier
If we're
anymore.
Craig
talking
Jones.
technique,
That's where I was going to. I was going to what can people start exploiting in jiu-jitsu to be a high-level competitor?
yeah, 'cause-
Wrestling.
Yeah. That's
Sambo,
a tough one.
evidently.
Yeah. The tough one with that one is it's not like you can learn that real quick. That's something you have to work really damn hard on. It's not like leg locks. You can get pretty damn decent at leg locks in probably 2 or 3
And that probably
months.
would have been the answer a couple of years ago. That
Right.
leg locks are kind of the outlier in jiu-jitsu. But
Yeah.
now it's almost the main thing anymore.
Yeah, it's now to the point where it's like close guard and passing close guard.
Someone's going to have to tell John Danaher, why would you ignore 50% of the human body again? but
Yeah,
the top
the
half
other
of the
direction. I know the biggest one right now is, and it's the reason why they say Makachev is so good, is pins. Being
Yeah.
able to pin
Hold
someone,
someone down.
hold someone
Well, the whole
flat.
mount aspect and wrestling aspect
Yeah.
is definitely the. I mean, everyone's admitted that right now.
Yeah.
That like it's switched from leg locks and now it's just who can dominate by smashing, passing, and controlling.
Yeah,
I'll play devil's advocate.
yeah,
Sure.
So in my kids' class, there is a kid who learned to do takedowns from a wrestler, and they refuse to change like cupping and stuff like that, like the traditional wrestling ways to do like double leg and all that stuff. And so I asked a wrestler, I was like, so explain this to me. Why is this better than the way that I can't talk like man. Why is this better to do, the cupping thing? And he was like, well, it's only good if you want to drive your head through and then, dump them to the side. And I said, yeah, but we don't want to do that because then, we expose, we guillotine. And he was like, well, then there is no answer. So I always fight back and say that when we talk about wrestling, though, it always has to be hybridized.
Well, the reason that they cup, I think, behind the knees in wrestling is that it's illegal to lock your
Correct.
hands.
Yeah, that's where I was going at with
Because that's better,
With
right?
the-
That's why they make
yeah.
it illegal.
Mhm.
with the parent and the kid. I was basically just making fun of that, being like, no, we're not doing something because of rules,
Yeah.
because that's why you're doing it. But so I tried to have a wrestler explain to me, hey, why would cupping be a better way to take someone down? And they basically just finally said, no, it's not a better way to take them down. So that's why whenever we say wrestling, I always like to say, yeah, but it has to be hybridized. It can't be just traditional wrestling.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
All right. Man, this is a quick. How far are we on?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Jeez, this is good. What BJJ instructional would you burn if we still bought DVDs?
Chad Hawkins. Next question.
Man, the rare self-deprecating
I
joke
set it
from
up for
Chad.
you,
I
knocked
like
it down.
that.
Go on.
Yeah. Well, the show's over.
All other
then.
catchphrases, just throw them in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
next.
The show's
Sign
over,
off.
sadly enough, if we go to that. So we'll wait for Ronnie. And
So we want to
Brandon.
burn some instructional from the past.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
which one would you just be like? This
Just
is
what,
complete
anything from Andre
trash.
The Andre Calveo Library, is that what we're talking about?
I mean, that's
The
basically.
inventor of
I
the
have an
barrel
answer,
bowl?
actually.
Trying to make friends.
Brandon?
Yes.
I would burn the Nicky Rod How to Build the Perfect Jiu-Jitsu Biceps BJJ Fanatics
See,
instructional.
I wasn't
There we
wrong.
go.
We found it.
Because what the fuck even is that? Done.
No, but if you really think about this, because you're talking about VHS, it's not instructionals. He's not on a VHS. Well,
He's
not
talking about
VHS.
DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs. That's what I meant.
5-year-old.
Yeah. Nicky Rod is on stream. He's not on DVDs technically.
Right.
So
So if you're
think
gonna
about, and then I think about when I first started and I got some like those Eddie Bravo.
Hold on. Sadly enough, that's incorrect. All that BJJ Fanatic stuff, you can still get a DVD for.
I know, but you know what I'm
But
saying.
who
Like you're
does?
talking about
I
the
know.
old.
No, I'm just saying, like, that was the premise. Like, what BJJ
But-
Fanatics video would you just burn? Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, this
But
is
it's got to be a
useless.
BJJ Fanatics,
No,
or it's
I
got to
just mean
be
in general, just an instructional.
'Cause
just you're
I
telling
have
this is
some-
bullshit.
Yeah.
from a long time ago.
we could just get rid of Rubber Guard 101, right?
Well, even it gets even worse than that.
Oh.
Like there's some really generic people that made DVDs back in the day. I need to find them because I bought the set on eBay or something, and it
Yeah.
came with 10 DVDs in it, and the guy is no clue who he is, and they're so awful to watch.
Yeah.
But Tyler Gordon sent me a link the other day, and it was like the UFC in the 2000s, I think, and I want to say it was a Frank Mir match.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. But they're yelling like, he's going to heel hook him. And it was clearly not a heel hook.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to listen to the techniques back in the day that were not the right. It was like clearly a straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
Like he has it like this in the foot. And it's like sideways. There's no heel hook. There's no. And the guy even taps.
Mm-hmm.
And
One of the guy that Tristan lost to up in Wisconsin, I remember watching, he had a fight where he won, and they said he won by heel hook, but it was a straight ankle lock.
yeah.
And the announcers, and this was in probably like 2019, the announcers said he won by a heel
It's a
hook.
tough jump.
I
Don't worry.
forgot how to do that.
It's a tough one.
Keep guiding him. You're his therapist for this.
No, it's not fair if he helps me, so that's the reason why. It's
Hey,
just all
He's
Everyone
doing
needs
everything
help.
right that I would have done so far. So
Except you would have won in 7 minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you know how many times it took me to actually complete it in 7 minutes, though? There was a lot of loses along the way. So,
Losses.
yeah.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
TikTok.
Quit
burn.
talking to me while I'm doing this. I just lost again.
All
Was
right.
it worth it?
I think we can
worth
close
it.
this
The
one
joke
out.
was worth it.
The joke was
Close
worth
this one
it.
out, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
We're continuing now.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
See you guys.
You gonna do the sign off? You don't want your cat to see your penis?
Don't let your cat see your penis.
All right.
Have a great day.